Hey everybody, so excited that it is finally time for the Barefoot trailer, and now we get to introduce you to the people that dreamed it up in the beginning, how it became, and then how it made it all the way from the UK to here. So that's what we're talking about. How do you create a trailer, and then how do you move it across the ocean? So stay tuned. This is really a cool story for a very cool trailer.
Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go along with them. We're your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I am not Clint.
No, you're Lindsay. I'm PJ. And so, by the way, Clint is out today and we're winging it. He is our tech guy. So
I'm not sure this is even recording.
Yeah, we think we're recording. I don't know. If you're hearing us, it probably worked. And if you're not, well, too bad.
So sad.
Yes. So anyway, just a little background on this. We are recording this on the eve of the Barefoot launch here at Princess Craft. And that is super exciting because it's been a very long time in the making. And we're actually, Lindsay, did you see the beach out front?
I did. I shoveled it.
We have
my back hurts
out front of our dealership. Yeah, this big truck came, dumped a big pile of sand, and we pushed it all around. And I am just kind of waiting for the lawn chairs and the cocktails to show up, and then I'll be good.
Yep. And by the time people hear this, the launch will have already happened. So, I'm really excited. And can you believe people came from like the other side of the world to come here?
Yeah. Well, I guess we better get started with our guests. We have Ben and Cathy here on our first interview of this podcast. And guys, thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, it's really exciting to be here. Really exciting.
So first clue, they're British. So as we were
not.
Yeah. And I'm not. As we were starting the podcast, I said, we're kind of not very serious here. And you guys said, well, we're British, right? I was like, oh, yeah.
That's
well,
our job to be
did you just say use guys?
Well, if I did it by mistake.
That was awesome.
I'm a Texas girl, y'all.
Y'all, that's what we've been hearing. Yeah.
Y'all.
I expect you to say that a few times now. Yeah.
Okay. Have I said it a few times?
No, not yet.
No.
We'll be disappointed if you don't.
All right, y'all.
You disappointed y'all.
Yeah.
I did get you barbecue for lunch, okay?
Yes, yeah.
I know. You got Rudy's barbecue, and maybe some people don't consider it top of the line Texas barbecue.
But it was right across the street.
That's what I was about to say. But it was super easy. And, I was a little lazy. So it was
We've got
okay.
nothing to compare it to. So
No,
That's right.
It's
So
excellent to us.
it was the best Texas barbecue we've ever had.
perfect.
It's also the worst. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, let's talk about something that you know a whole lot more about than I do. And that's the Barefoot trailer. Y'all, if you haven't seen this, it looks like a little rolling Easter egg. And the one that nuCamp is making here that's coming out that we are launching tomorrow is a robin's egg blue. So it's really especially cute. So how did this start? How did Cathy, I am told they tout you as the creator. Are you the person who drew it on a napkin, or does it go past that?
Yeah, but that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Okay. I have to know, what was the drink on top of the napkin? Because today we are sporting Merlot, correct? If y'all don't know this, there is always something interesting in these cups. So what was in the cup on top of the napkin? That's what I really want to know.
Well, it all started with wine, actually. Yeah. So there's the theme. Yeah, there's the link. So
is that why there's what do you call that? A wine rack. Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. We're off on the right foot.
Yeah,
I think.
So you're along the right lines. Yeah. So it started way back when in 2011. I had a wet weekend camping with my kids and a friend and her kids. And we got the children into the tents at night, like late, and then we're like, right, we need a glass of wine now because the kids are little. Need a glass of wine. And we were sitting in my car in the rain, drinking wine. And I was looking around at all the caravans thinking that would be a really good place to be, but none of those would suit me. They're not for me at all.
Why not? I mean, there are hundreds of things and lots of really cool things in Europe. Why didn't they suit you?
Yeah,
what's wrong?
Traditional caravans certainly in the UK have been sort of big white boxes, square white boxes, quite big to tow.
Really?
Yeah. And then I went and had a look at some of the smaller teardrop trailers. So I thought, I'll see what's out there, what's available. And then the ones that I like the style of were the small teardrop trailers, not dissimilar to some of the things you have over here, but certainly though 11 years ago, there wasn't quite the same availability and of choice.
Yeah.
Back up. First of all, back up. First thing I'm going to say is, we hear that all the time, that why can't you build a trailer here in the U.S. like all the trailers in Europe?
Actually, we do hear that a lot.
And they say, all the ones here are just white boxes.
Really?
Well,
yeah. Is that not true?
Most of the ones in Europe are white boxes as well. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the standard
Well, they
caravan.
certainly are in the UK, aren't they? So whether there's stuff available in Europe that's a bit different, but we don't even get some of these really cool teardrops that you've got. So
there might be just that perception that we only see the super cool stuff, maybe from Europe.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
Not so much,
I know, maybe it's the misconception that Europe has all the cool stuff and we don't. And every British accent is really smart. Did you know that?
No.
There haven't. See, this is.
Do you know you're automatically a genius?
Yes.
I'm clever too.
Americans rate people with British accents as being smarter than the average human.
People who say y'all.
And people say y'all are probably less smart than the average human. I don't know. Let's
get back to the Barefoot.
11 years ago. 11 years ago? That's a long time.
Yeah. So anyway, there was the wine, the camping, and
the sitting in your car.
I love the outdoors. Love going to different places out in the countryside to visit, and also music festivals. So I was looking for a caravan, which you would call a travel trailer, wouldn't you?
I like caravan better. It sounds very classy. Very classy.
Okay. We like to call ours the Barefoot. We move away from caravan as well. Anyway, so we, so I looked around and some of the little teardrop trailers were cool. But in our climate particularly, you need to be undercover when it's raining. You just want to be inside.
Yes. And it rains a lot.
It rains a lot.
It rains a lot.
Yeah. And so I wanted something that I could tow myself, move around myself. I wanted it to have a bathroom in there. I don't want to be treading across a field in the middle of the night in the rain. So
come on. Where's the adventure in that?
So, don't know, it didn't appeal. So anyway, created a vision of a cool curved caravan. And I know it gets talked a lot about it being a retro caravan. 11 years ago, retro wasn't even cool, actually. It wasn't a thing. And it was just a design that we loved. So, like I said, I wanted it to be curved. It needs to be curved in all directions. And was very fortunate that Ben and my other business partner, Mike, who's now retired, sort of took on board me and some ideas.
It's a crazy lady that came to see us.
So you guys weren't like friends who dreamed this up.
No, we'd never met. No. So I've got a business in the UK making sidecars to go on the side of motorcycles.
You are the coolest guy.
What?
No, you are.
No. Okay. No, you.
Second.
So wow. So you build. Okay. Wait. Just to be clear, I want to be sure everybody heard that. You build sidecars?
Sidecars.
Are sidecars like a big thing in the UK? They are they're kind of a unique,
they're
weird
not massive, but
thing.
Again, they're sort of part of this sort of heritage and classic style. So the two products fit well together. And a lot of your listeners, I'm sure, will will have watched Harry Potter, and we made.
I love to say Harry Potter again.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
So we made all the sidecars for the Harry Potter sidecar.
Did
thing.
you?
So, yeah. I'm not going to talk about that now because
we have a Harry Potter celebrity.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. There's sidecars.
Blue ones.
All the blue
There's
ones.
apparently sidecars in it.
Blue.
Oh.
They're all barefoot blue. So Hagrid's sidecar in Harry Potter was made by us.
Wow. Okay, now we have to watch it.
I guess I have to watch Harry Potter now.
But back to Barefoot. So Cathy came to talk to us because she got this idea about making this caravan. And we've been building sidecars for over 100 years with similar sort of skills. So lots of fiberglass skills and making our own chassis and things. So we had this phone call from this lady who was an ex-employment lawyer, wanted to make a caravan. I was like, well, come and talk to us.
Ex-employment lawyer.
Yeah.
That's a previous life.
That's I was a
previous
solicitor,
life.
yeah.
Wow. That's a whole nother podcast, right?
Yeah. So anyway, just that was not interesting enough for me. Yeah. So I wanted to do something that I was interested in, that I loved, and it was a real passion project. It was the idea of creating something. Originally thinking, I just want something that would suit me and people like me. Yeah. And then it's obviously grown way beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so were you a lawyer when you sat in your car in the rain and drew up the plans and then called Ben?
Yeah, well, no, my kids were really little. So I was working in-house for a company. Yeah, so I was still working part-time.
Part-time then.
But then, and I had an idea that I wanted to start a business, but it needed to be something that I was interested in. And everything that I looked at was sort of sensible with the numbers and the figures. I thought, I'm not going to be very interested in that. It had to be something that I really liked. And then this just literally sprung out of the wet weekend camping. And
wow.
I met these guys. And the fiberglass connection was literally thinking, what gets made out of fiberglass? So it was speedboats and motorbike sidecars. So I also spoke to some speedboat manufacturers and then met these guys like, no, you're the ones. You're definitely the ones that are mad enough to do this with me.
Yes. Well, I would love to hear what a speedboat manufacturer said to you.
They're way too sensible.
You want a what? That is not cool enough. So what made you listen? What made you say, oh, okay, maybe?
Well, I don't know. It was Cathy's sales pitch, I guess. She came along with the plan of it. It was at the time it was going to be a very different caravan to what it's turned out to be. So we really liked the idea of this small travel trailer that Cathy was talking about. And she had an idea of what that was going to be, but it needed to be better.
You
agree?
Obviously.
And made sure that the bathroom was inside and the cooking facilities inside, and you could stand up in it. And previously in my business, we'd used a local university for some design work. So we actually went back to them, gave them a really good brief of what we wanted in terms of how the thing should look, the equipment that it should have in. And they actually worked on it for a term as a project at this Coventry University. And we had some really wacky ideas and some that were really very close to our brief, and some that were just like spaceships, some of them, weren't they?
Do you still have those?
Yeah, we've got some. Yeah, I can send you.
I mean, that would be really cool to see. Like a college student's idea of.
They were really imaginative.
Yeah.
We're looking at them going, well, how would you put a window in that? How are you going to fit the windows? How are you going to fit the windows? So
that's cool.
There was a big element of what we wanted, wished for, and then what practically could go inside.
Right.
And certainly the curved shape, everyone was saying, you can't make a curved caravan with one piece. It's a one-piece body. You can't do that. It'd be too difficult. And I think because I'd come into it not knowing anything about it, and Ben, similarly had not fitted out a caravan before, we're like, yeah, we'll be able to do it. Whereas anyone in the industry, and we had a lot of people saying at the time, you won't be able to do it. It won't work. You won't be able to do it. But the more someone tells you that, aren't you more determined? So then
you go, oh, wait. Don't tell me I can't do it.
It has to happen then.
That's right. And, we see a lot of things here that are made with the two shells that are put together and they have the seam around the middle. I mean, that's kind of a common design if you're trying to move to a fiberglass type shell. It's like two boat holes stuck together.
Yeah, well, manufacturers are always looking at the most cost-effective way of making something.
And is that more cost-effective?
2 shells or 2 sides and a roof put on. But we've probably come up with the most ridiculous way of making a caravan. But you end up with something that is so different to everything. It's got such a cool shape. It doesn't leak. So we're really proud of what we achieved. And like Cathy said, the more people told us that we couldn't do it that way, we're like, yes, we can.
Okay, so I am not an engineer, but can you briefly tell me, how did you figure out to do what they told you couldn't do?
A lot of it was to do with some connections that we made through the whole process. So we'd designed what we wanted it to look like, and we got this really clever guy to mould the shape of it out of clay. So it was all made in sort of modelling clay to start with, the full size of it, and then took some moulds off it. And then we were introduced to a really good company that does the fiberglass, and I think they've got a similar attitude. They won't be told that you can't do something.
Wonderful.
So we told them what they wanted, and they're like, it's a bit weird, but they went away and worked out where, because with fiberglass moulding, you've got to have all the angles right, so the product inside can come out of it.
Is it a little like paper shaying a balloon?
Yeah,
you have a shape and then you put the fiberglass on the outside?
No.
Inside.
No?
Sorry.
I'm thinking
Yes
more
and
like
no.
I'm thinking more like
this?
Play-Doh.
It's
Like
making-
when you push Play-Doh into a mold and then you take it out and then you have the
It's a bit more like making an Easter egg. So if you've got 2 halves of a mold,
Like-
and you pour melted chocolate into it and stick them together.
Okay.
So then what you've poured into the mold is the first thing you're going to see when you take it out. So it's like it's a mirror image of what you're putting in. So you've got to make sure that those mouldings can then come away from it. So the angles have all got to be right. So that's where all the clever bit comes in, is not just making a shape, but making it the shape that can then come out of a mold. And that's where these guys really helped us. So yeah, we got all the shapes together and stuff, and they just made it all happen.
So that makes perfect sense. The mold has to come off the outside in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
And then what you've got left is the 1 piece on the inside?
It's a bit like peeling a hard-boiled egg.
Okay, so that's why it's pretty much an egg shape.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Right? So it
my
can't have
hard-boiled
corners.
eggs do not come off into shell pieces.
We'll talk about how to hard boil an egg, Lindsay.
It's like a million.
Do you put them in cold, or do you have to warm them up? How do you do this so the
I've
shells
tried
come
it
off?
all.
I don't know. I bet there was some failures along the way. Some interesting failures.
Yeah. I think a few times we looked, what are we doing?
Wow.
You're making a mess.
And then I would come along with my legal brain on, saying, right, all the regulations, obviously, for the UK and Europe needed to be complied with. So we need a light at this height and this far from the edge. And we're like, oh, it won't fit. So we were there with, a piece of cardboard and rolled up cardboard. How are we going to make that one a bit look right? And, a lot of sort of, creating exactly the right shapes that we wanted. But that was part of it. Was so much fun, wasn't it? We were able to just say, we know this is how it has to be. And let's make it as beautiful, every bit of, and this was one of our older business partners' points, was that anything, has to have the right purpose, as well. If it's sort of got to have purpose and form, and that went right through the whole caravan. So if there was a spare bit of space, like the wine rack, there's a spare bit of space down the back of the unit, we need to make it into something useful.
Right.
Use it all.
My thought is, when I'm looking at it, is, as you were thinking of this, I'm like, oh, okay, somebody got on a computer, designed it completely, drew it up, did their little model that turns around, looks all cool, and it probably can just project out what it would be, and then you've got the specs, then you just build it. But this was all hand done.
Yeah, we did have various bits on computer as well. It was not just quite as free flow, but we did both. And we, inside the workshop, though, we made a wooden version, didn't we?
Yeah.
We created one.
A wooden version? Do you still have it?
No.
We just
Oh my goodness!
But we were making cardboard boxes, the shape of the furniture units, and we were putting cardboard boxes in and moving them around and thinking, is that going to fit there? Or is that going to fit there?
And also,
that sounds so fun.
Yeah, and like Mike again was saying, you need to make sure you're not going to bang your elbow on this when you go in or whatever.
Yeah.
So it had to not just fit, it had to feel right. The space had to feel right. Yeah. So
and with fiberglass, I guess you can't build one and then say, make this 2 inches shorter and build another one. And then make this a little taller, build another one. I mean, it's expensive to trial and error this.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so how much time lapsed between drawing on the napkin and building your first Barefoot?
Okay. So I think the full design was drawn up by 2012. So we're just kind of,
okay.
So that's 10 years ago now.
Okay.
And then the first production bare feet were coming off in 2015. So 3 years, but we were busy doing other jobs as well. And I think the fact it took so long was useful. I went off to Glastonbury Music Festival. I came back. It was originally just going to have a shower and a sink. A toilet and a sink. And I was like, it's got to have a shower as well. It's got to have a shower. So Ben's like, oh, crikey, okay, another few months
At
of
what point
development
did you just go,
that,
okay, stop?
I found from Cathy, she's coming down tomorrow. I was like, God, what next?
Yeah, you're not allowed to go to any more music festivals. You come back with all these crazy ideas, like a shower.
But what was useful, I think, was that we got it quite right, didn't we? Because we haven't changed, for the version that is now becoming available in the US. It's barely changed.
I love
all that time because I think we got it right in the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the bathroom in the Barefoot. Like, love it. That's my favorite part, I think.
Really? Yeah. Why?
It just makes so much sense, and it's right there, and it's spacious, and it's pretty. I don't know. I just think it's cool.
I'm only 5 feet tall. It is not that spacious.
But like for a tiny bathroom, we've seen a million tiny bathrooms here. I mean, this is what we do, and the Barefoot is my favorite tiny bathroom.
I love the stylishness of it.
Yes, it looks so cool.
The thing I like about it is a cassette toilet, but it's not the big honker square take up the space one. It's nice little dainty stool there. You do have storage behind it. It's just nice and clean, open feeling. But then molded in is the sink. It's like molded into the wall. I feel like I'm in The Hobbit or something because it's all one piece.
Yeah.
And then you have this cute oval mirror on this Barefoot here. Now, I haven't seen yours, but I assume it's similar.
Yeah.
And it looks like an aluminum door. It's actually a plastic material, but this nice little accordion fold. It is
super cute.
Very cute. Really stylish. I'm impressed on how you make it work. And I don't think it's the biggest bathroom on the market. I don't know that I'd call it spacious, but it is definitely adequate. Yeah. I even love the little curved top on it. I think the like rounded top of the door. That's what makes me feel a little Hobbit.
It's all part of using
Hobbit-like.
every bit of space in there.
Yes.
So you're not wasting anything.
Yes.
We didn't want to have a sort of square bathroom inside a nice curvy caravan, so that there's not an inch of space wasted anywhere in it.
So whose idea was it to make a space to put the table and clip it into the wall in the cabinet? Do you even remember?
We don't remember that. That's a real
the best feature.
If you could just teach every manufacturer here in the U.S. to do it. I cannot tell you how many hundreds of campers there are. And if you take the table off, I mean, to make the bed or because you don't want a table, you have no place to put it.
Really?
You carry it to your car.
And you've got a tiny car because that's why you have a tiny camper.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what do I do with this table?
Oh, no,
It just seemed like a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, see, they're smart.
They're practical.
So much smarter than
I guess
us.
those British accents maybe do work.
Okay, so you're making the Barefoot. You said it was 3 years until you made the first Barefoot. Why is it here now? What did you reach out to nuCamp? Did nuCamp reach out to you? What made you think, let's take it to America? How did that happen?
There was quite a lot happened in the middle, very quickly actually. One thing was that because obviously we've got the internet now, so once we
had the internet then too.
Did you?
Yeah,
so
we did.
clever.
Didn't you? You did too. You just didn't know it. You were in Harry Potter land.
No, okay. Then we had the internet. So in 2015 we had the internet, and once we launched it in the UK, a couple of magazines in America got hold of it, and we were getting hundreds and hundreds of inquiries. Can you ship one over?
Oh,
Can we
that's
have one
cool.
over here?
Wow.
And I was thinking, cracky, well, and so to begin with, we're like, no, we're just a small British company. We won't be doing that, you know. So, and we probably kept that thought for about a year.
No, leave me alone. Go away. Sorry. No, bye.
And then after a year, we're like, hang on, this is ridiculous now because all these people want it. Why do we keep saying no? You know, so there's got to be a point when we stop saying no now.
Correct.
And so then I started contacting companies in the US and chatting to companies in the US about manufacturing. Just couldn't find a company with the right fit and feel and sort of getting an idea for the quality. And, you know, one of the things that we absolutely pride ourselves in is that the Barefoot is absolutely top quality. And, you know, if somebody buys a Barefoot, we want them to be really, really happy with it. And just didn't get that sense that, you know, that would be sort of, you know, that would be sort of more mass manufacture and less, you know, less about the quality. So never really got there with that.
So who did you have a handful of companies that were like super interested that you can mention by name?
I don't think I can mention any by name. I think with most of them we signed a non-disclosure agreement straight away, to be honest, so we could share.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm just curious.
That's how that works.
I mean, I'm thinking companies like Airstream. You know, Airstream tried a fiberglass model years ago. Most people don't know that. And there are other companies that have been looking for something new and different. So
Airstream tried that at exactly the same time that we launched. Yeah.
Well, they did put out
the Nest.
The Nest. Yeah.
Yeah, but they had one years ago.
Okay. No, this was about the same time as the Nest. So obviously we knew.
I guess that makes sense. That makes sense.
Something else at the same time.
Okay. So how did you end up at nuCamp? So what did they do differently?
So it was very fortunate that we met Bruce, who I know you'll be speaking to on a different podcast.
Well, or later on this one, so y'all hang on.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, so there was we had various bits on the TV in the UK as well. So I was on a program called George Clark's Amazing Spaces.
Okay.
And then BBC World News picked up the Barefoot, so I was interviewed for that. And I think through all of that, my LinkedIn profile became a bit more lively, to put it mildly.
Right.
And Bruce and I hooked up on LinkedIn, and I saw that where he had previously worked, which was Airstream, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting.
Okay.
So we messaged and we spoke, and he's actually said, I'm going to speak to you about, I've got just the company for you, but I need to, you know, find out all about you. So we had about an hour on the phone, and I felt like I was really being grilled.
Yeah. Were you nervous?
I got a whole hour and thinking, and I knew Bruce it was a really interesting chat, because Bruce is British, but been living in America for absolutely years now. I see. So lots of commonality. And anyway, quizzed me and then said, right, I'll tell you who it is now then. And it was nuCamp.
At the end.
Yeah. And so I was like,
and did Bruce already know that nuCamp was interested?
No, well, he thought they might be. We'll have to ask Bruce that bit.
Okay, I will quiz him shortly.
He thought they might be, and they were. So he introduced me to Scott, the chief executive, and we chatted, and I think we were in the office, weren't we, together, Ben?
Yeah.
Phone,
sort of phone perched on
some books,
having a Zoom call or whatever it was called at the time.
Yeah,
and then we sent one over, didn't we? So they sent one over and evaluated it, and then we came over to Alcart Show in
2019.
Wait, they sent one over?
We sent one over.
Oh, you sent a Barefoot to them.
They say, send us one, we'll pay for it. We want to take a look.
So then seeing it at the Alcart Show was just like, oh my God, it's amazing, just sort of seeing the caravan there. And that was our first proper introduction to the guys at nuCamp.
And that was when I met you.
Yes.
Do you remember what I said? Okay, Scott, how quickly can you make this?
You do remember that? I do remember that, yeah.
All right. Hands down, how quickly can you make this happen?
So that's what he said. He said, we want to show it to our biggest and best dealers and see what they think. So we did not have a clue what you'd think about it, and we were delighted. Yeah, so we met you, and you were really, really complimentary, and then he introduced it to other dealers, and everyone said the same thing. We need it over here.
Yes.
We've got to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was amazing. That was just incredible.
That was good.
Wasn't it?
And I think one important thing for us at Alcart was it gave us the opportunity to walk around, because it's such a huge event, and see everybody else. And then you come back to the nuCamp stand or or their booth, and their quality stands out amongst everybody else, and we just knew at that time we were with the right people.
A lot of white boxes, right?
Well, it's not just the white. It wasn't just for us about the style of everybody else's product. It was the attention to detail and all the finishing touches. But we just knew then that they were the right people that need to be making the Barefoot.
Right. Well, good. I remember that day very clearly, and then we went out to dinner and had a marvelous time, and I was so excited. Did you have any idea that it would take until the end of 2022 before this got launched?
No.
I mean, and that's probably not a fair question, because who actually predicted the pandemic, right? That would be zero people, right?
Main inconvenience. Yeah, I mean, everything else has gone, there were going to be challenges, definitely. But
actually, I think the pandemic probably gives them a really good excuse, because this is a huge undertaking to figure out how to build a fiberglass model to that degree here. I mean, you've got to create they have to learn to do it here somewhere, somehow, the way you guys learned to do it.
They reversed the whole thing.
And re-engineer
the doors on the other side, of course,
backwards.
Now. So the whole thing had to be done in reverse, And
then they had to get all of the gear from the U.S. that was sourced here and kind of redesign the inside electronics and appliances to make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to do. It's kind of how do we change it all around and make it look the same?
And it does. We've seen it now. It is so similar. It is absolutely fantastic. It's incredible to see it. I mean, it's overwhelming. I've just been and seen it, and I'm thinking, wow, I can't believe, that what we created in our factory in the UK is over here in reverse, and it's dream come true stuff. It really is. It's amazing.
Lindsay's fixing our lights. Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah.
So I want to know how it feels to come up with this thing and have in your head that this is the perfect trailer for you. Like, you built it for your needs because you wanted it, and have everybody love it so much.
And now it's being produced in 2 continents.
I mean,
or 3.
It's
or 3.
It's one thing to make something, but if you make it and then, for you, and then everybody else loves it, I don't know. I feel like that would feel really cool.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's, just the going back a few minutes ago, just the interest that we're getting from the States. We're like, we never saw this coming. It was never part of the plan. Although it's amazing now and coming here to see it, but when we first started out, we were going to make a few caravans for the UK, and then
oops.
But it's just like it wasn't part of our plan. It was just didn't make sense. But it's just amazing that it's happened.
Well, I think it is a great testament to your initiative, your dreaming, your attention to detail, the time that you took to get it exactly right and to raise your standards. That is why it's interesting, because you built something that not only makes sense, but it appeals to your sense of design, instead of building something with the idea of making money and appealing to everyone. And that is really where so many manufacturers start when they are looking at what to build.
The profit,
and my hat is off to you guys. It is an amazing product. I am in love, and starting tomorrow, the rest of America is going to love it too.
Cool. We hope so. Thank you.
But the one thing for me that really shines through with it is that it makes people smile.
You just
that's
even
true.
If you don't want a tiny trailer, you just have to smile.
So when we first produced it in the Cotswolds, we took it to a small event, and we didn't literally. That was going back to Lindsay's question, absolutely nerve-wracking, thinking we're just going to be laughed at here. What's going to happen? Everybody was smiling and loving it and stroking it because it feels so tactile and it's so and the curves. And that's just gone on and on and on. So every show we go to, we know now we're going to actually enhance people's day, whether they want to buy one or not. At the end of the day, we're actually, giving them something to think about, and that And actually, the whole story is giving people something to think about.
Absolutely.
As well, really.
You can do anything if you dream it up and you really stick with your values.
Well, that really goes right down to our team at Barefoot in the UK as well. The guys we've got working for us just love building them as well. They're so passionate about it. They're not just there for a job.
That's awesome.
You know, they're
That's very similar to what I hear or what I see at nuCamp as well. Is like they are like a family, and
they're proud of the products at the end of the day. You know,
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
That's how we knew when I visited Sugar Creek and went around the factory. The feeling around the factory was so similar to our own. That people have got great pride in their work and love the product. Yeah, and it's
Well, you're now part of the nuCamp family, just like us, and it's just
cheers to that.
a pleasure to have you on the nuCamp team. So, we'll celebrate tomorrow. We'll meet all the new folks, launch this product, and I hope everybody looks it up because it's just super cool. It'll make you smile. I promise. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay, that was pretty fun to talk to Ben and Cathy, wasn't it?
so fun.
I know. So I learned a lot, but I'm excited now because we have Bruce and Scott. There isn't enough room at this table for all of us to talk, so we kind of split it in half. I think we got all the way up to connecting to nuCamp. Now we get to talk to nuCamp. What happened after that?
You telling the other side of the story?
The other half? Yeah. The other side of the road, the other side of the Barefoot.
So Scott is the CEO of nuCamp.
Yes. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Bruce, who are you?
I'm the Barefoot project manager for nuCamp.
The Barefoot
Project manager. For nuCamp.
So how did you didn't start there, did you? Were you the Barefoot project manager when you called Cathy and said, "Hey, we might be interested"? Because that's what we heard a few minutes ago.
No, this whole Barefoot project manager role emerged from that conversation. So my first involvement with Barefoot were those conversations with Cathy. I made the connection when I heard that she was looking for a partner to manufacture and distribute the Barefoot in the US. I connected Cathy to Scott. They went away, did their due diligence, showed the unit, got a lot of good feedback. And then when it came to the point where Barefoot Caravans was making the agreement with nuCamp to develop a US version, then Scott reached back to me and asked me to come on board to be involved in project managing the US version of the Barefoot Caravan.
And you said, "I don't know, I'm kind of busy."
No, I was a fan. I was kind of really bowled over when I first met Cathy and heard about the concept. And the more I learned about it, the more I was convinced there was a strong opportunity for a unique product like this in the US. I knew it needed a lot of work to meet the requirements of the US marketplace, but I was always very convinced that there was a home for this product in the US.
What's your background?
I was in engineering, leading the product development engineering group at Airstream for over a decade. So that's my kind of past RV experience.
Oh, you're an engineer.
Yeah, and I had a couple of different past lives in the automotive industry too. So
did you design cars?
Not directly, no.
Oh, but you did something that created cars.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Probably way over my head, you know? That's interesting. I don't know. Cathy, the dreamer, and Bruce, the engineer, sounds like a great team.
That was a great team. Obviously, the big third element in this project is nuCamp in terms of a company that's set to market, distribute, and also undertook all the product development of getting from the UK version to the US version that we'll be unveiling here this week.
Yeah. Did you know Scott before this whole thing came about?
Yeah, I was introduced to nuCamp several years prior just by an industry contact. And I visited, met with Scott, met with the management team, toured the plant, and we just kind of shared views on the industry. And, no real specific motive, just it was pointed out to me that this was an interesting company doing their own unique thing with high quality premium compact travel trailers in Sugar Creek. And I visited came away deeply impressed, and that memory stuck with me. So fast forward a couple of years when Cathy identified this opportunity and this need, it just seemed to me it was an absolute perfect fit to recommend nuCamp as the partner for the Barefoot.
How did you know she was looking for someone? Had you just heard it through the grapevine, the RV grapevine?
No, I became aware of the Barefoot due to all the press that it was gathering at the time.
Okay.
Particularly on social media. Okay. And then I entered into a conversation with Cathy where she told me more about the Barefoot and then revealed that she was looking for a company to manufacture it and distribute it in the US. So that
okay, I am trying to figure this out, and I won't bore everyone with my curiosities, but did you just wake up one day and say, I think this is a cool product. I think I'll call up Cathy and talk to her. I mean, who does that?
No, it was really unscripted. I saw the product. I started following it. I was interested in the product. Cathy reached out to me. We started talking about the product. And at that time, I had no idea that she was looking to get it manufactured in the US. And I wasn't reaching out with that intent. I was just exploring, interested in the product. And it was a very just organic discussion that took place. And
I see. All on social media, like LinkedIn or...
Right. Yeah, and then we spoke for a long time on the telephone too, as the kind of discussion developed.
So you were just the geek, right?
Well, I resemble that comment.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It is my most admired people in the world.
I wouldn't say geek, I say matchmaker, right? Oh. I put the two parties together, and I really saw a fit there. I could see that something as unique as the Barefoot would not be for every company in the RV industry. But when I thought about nuCamp and its focus on small, premium, compact units with a lot of European contact and flair, then it just seemed to be a kind of perfect match.
So you didn't start out putting these companies together with any personal motive that this could make me rich and I could get all kinds of perks from it. You just thought, these people belong together.
That's right. You're making me sound good.
I mean,
you are good.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I put the parties together and I felt a sense of satisfaction.
Good.
That it's like, hey, this is a good fit. This could really happen. Wouldn't it be cool if this happened? Wouldn't it be cool if putting these people together ended up with this product in the US? And I went off and did some other things. And then, as I say...
Then you got a phone call.
I got a phone call. And
so when did you step into this conversation, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, Bruce reached out to me and I can't even remember necessarily. Was it late of 18?
Right.
And late 18, Bruce reached out to me and introduced the idea, just started kicking it around and looked at it, fell in love visually. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
And,
And businesses, the manufacturers were all rocking and rolling at that point. So you're thinking, all right, I'm ready for the next adventure. I mean, really, business was very good at that moment.
Yeah. I mean, we're sort of very happy where we're positioned in the teardrop market. And sometimes it's hard to say, okay, where are we spreading our wings? Where are we going to next? So when we saw this, we saw a unique opportunity to add something diminutive, add something that frankly is a unicorn. It's unto itself. There's nothing else like it. And, Cathy and her painting the picture and explaining the story to me, it just was infectious. And I sort of saw the end before I even saw the beginning.
You got sucked into the dream.
Yeah.
All right. So all of a sudden you said, and this was 2019, okay, we've explored it. I imagine the due diligence is a little more in depth than we have let on, because I know you, and I know that you watched every detail, looked at every corner and said, I think this will work. We should try it. You jump off. Did you just think, we need Bruce? I need to call Bruce.
Well, I knew that we did not have the resources in-house, the experts in-house that had the capabilities of moving this thing along.
Okay.
So, Bruce is the one who brought it to us. Bruce is the one who had extensive background already in RVs and working with fiberglass, had knowledge.
And he has the accent to go with
so
it.
I know. Which makes him really smart, right?
The link, right?
That British accent.
Yeah. So, in nuCamp, it wasn't me. I fell in love with the idea. I sold the idea, understood the unit. How it was going to come to fruition, I was entirely clueless on. So that's why I needed to pick up the phone. And Bruce helped walk us through that entire process. I mean, he's been absolutely indispensable.
Wow. So together you created this, and it took, by my calculations, over 3 years. Because I met Ben and Cathy in 2019. We all went out to dinner, had a great time. They were amazing people. I know you were excited. I know at that point you were still thinking, okay, where are we here? Can we really do this? So at the end of 2019, you said, yeah, we're doing this. You call Bruce, you get him started. At that moment in time, how long did you think this would take?
Not 3 years. That probably would be the best answer I can give. Yeah. I'm an optimist. I like to think I'm a little pragmatic about it, but I probably would have said 18 to 24 months. Understanding that there was no CAD drawings, understanding that we would have to sort of start from scratch and then mirror it and then go through that process. But, there was a lot of things that we weren't prepared for. Number one, because we just weren't familiar with it. And then number two, that life throws at you that really elongated that entire process.
Can you spell pandemic?
So how does it feel to look at the first Barefoot that actually it's not a prototype, it wasn't shipped over here? How does it feel to just look at the very first Barefoot that your factory made and it's done and you did it?
Yeah.
Don't cry.
Yeah. No crying on the podcast. Okay?
Don't cry.
No crying.
You're going to make me cry.
No, I will not cry when talking about things. It's people that make me cry.
And that's true. Right. I've seen it. And I'm like, somebody go help him.
I have a heart, right? So, no, I love it for the team. I love it for myself. I love it for Bruce. I love it for Cathy. I love it for Ben. There's a sense of excitement and pride. But if you look at this one and you look at the UK one, Bruce did such a good job keeping the spirit of the unit while Americanizing it that I see essentially the same unit. I see what I fell in love with in 2019. I see it out today. So it's the same unit, and it's been a journey and a half to get there. And we'll always continue to make things better like we do with everything. But there's a sense of pride, but it's more of a sense of satisfaction for the team and all the people that have played a part throughout the years.
You said Americanized it. What were some of your biggest struggles, Bruce, with Americanizing this trailer?
I think our biggest challenge was we showed the unit extremely widely. And the more we showed that UK unit to people, the more they told us not to change a thing. Yet at the same time, our list of features and functions that we needed to include to make it successful in the US marketplace, that list kept growing. So that was our kind of challenge. That was our overarching challenge.
Yeah.
Preserve that look and feel, but then make all of these changes, but make them as seamlessly as possible. Preferably make them invisible, but if not, make them subtle, make them holistic, and make them honor the original design. So that was really our big kind of challenge on the project.
When we're talking about changes that you had to make, if I looked at one and then looked at the other, what are the most visible differences between the original UK and the one that's here? Is there anything you can point out and say, we had to do it this way a little differently because?
Yeah, I don't want to point those out, though, because I hope we've made them invisible. but I will point them out. I mean, first of all, the biggest change we made was the decision to move the entry door from one side to the other.
Yes.
And just to remind everyone why that's important, this Barefoot caravan came from a country where they drive on the other side of the road.
Right.
Their entry door was on the opposite side of the road. Of
Yes.
all the companies in Europe we could choose to deal with, we picked the one where that's the case.
No, that's not true. I mean, the problem is if you back that into an American campground, you open that door and you're at the sewer hookups.
Exactly.
That's not cool.
Exactly. That's the problem. The more we talk to people, the more we recognize we just needed to configure that unit so that it'd be compatible with a US campground.
Yes.
Your social space is where your social space is, and the services are on the other side.
So they may say don't change a thing, but they don't know what they're talking about.
Right. And we debated that change a lot. And we said nobody's going to object to it being moved over the unit. There's a lot of work and there's a lot of functional reason to do so. But that meant we had to significantly modify the body. We had to build a new door aperture, move that to the other side of the unit. Then the side that we just vacated with a door, that had to become a body side with an additional window. And then this kind of chased its way through the unit. So going into the unit with the door now on the opposite side, the entire floor plan needed to be mirrored around the center line of the vehicle. So all of the cabinetry on the left became cabinetry on the right. Similarly, all the systems that are packed underneath some of those cabinets, they all had to be relocated. And then in the rear of the bathroom, we have that wonderful molded bathroom that is so well liked. That all had to be completely redone because, again, the locations of the toilet and the sink changed places across the unit, and all those parts had to be newly molded and newly made from scratch for the US version.
And see what you guys did just by saying we have to change the side of the door.
I know. And
See
I
what
remember
happens.
getting that question too. Do you really think we need to do this?
Yes.
Absolutely you do. It is going to be such a problem if you don't. And, it just seems to me like you could just write really hard on that napkin and then flip it over. So how hard is that?
I'm just still searching for that napkin. It sounds pretty special.
But I think if it was a regular built trailer, you just flip the CAD drawings and adjust your line. But because this is molded, one piece fiberglass, it's a seamless fiberglass with so many pieces of it molded in, has to be completely redone as a mold. So that was probably, am I right in thinking that is one of the biggest challenges is rebuilding the entire construction mold?
Yeah, we built a completely new set of molds. As you say, something like mirroring the furniture really isn't too difficult because we have all the CAD data.
Right.
We can do a lot of that in the computer and get that made. But when it comes to the fiberglass shell, we didn't have any CAD data or CAD models on the shell. It was all constructed by very traditional techniques. So that meant when we needed to then understand that body and make modifications to it, all we had to go on was the actual part. So we brought in two empty shells from the UK in a 40-foot container and all the fiberglass pieces and parts. And we studied them and measured them and weighed them and got to understand the construction and the design rationale. And then from that, we started with a UK shell and we made all the modifications necessary physically on the product to build a form that we could then later make the molds from. So that was all done physically. It wasn't done in the CAD environment. So that was a pretty significant undertaking. We talked about something like the door being a really big change, but there's many detailed changes on the exterior that I hope customers don't even notice. But we're accommodating different types of lighting, different types of reflectors to meet federal motor vehicle safety standards. We had to incorporate a Nautilus compartment, so we added a whole door on the side of the unit that we tried to do as subtly as possible. Even the license plate is a different size and shape for a UK unit. So that whole rear of the unit has been subtly resculpted. So lots of detail changes. And on those small changes, we just tried to make them as minimal as possible. And then we just tried to perform them in a way that was consistent with the design language of the original. And really, our motto was to do no harm. We didn't want to mess up the appearance of this unit.
Well, I've never seen the UK. Have I seen the UK version?
Yes, you have.
Oh, is that the original one I saw?
I told you they're the same.
I know. I guess they are. Yes. I mean, I think it looks the same to me. It is just fabulous. And there is nothing that would make me look at that and say, oh, yeah, you had to make that change. It would never occur to me. So you must have done an amazing job.
Well, thank you. That's what we strive very hard to do as a team.
Yeah. I have had the unique, privilege of spending, about 5 or 6 hours with this so far now, and a lot of time in it, a lot of time looking on the outside. It's just amazing. It feels like it was hand sculpted. So, and I guess when you're building a mold for fiberglass, it kind of is.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a handmade product.
It is.
Hey, PJ, what's your favorite feature of the Barefoot?
Well, I know yours is the bathroom because we had that conversation, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
My favorite feature, it has windows all the way around.
Scott, what's yours?
Well, it's 2, I guess. If you're looking at, there's just nothing like it from an exterior standpoint. So it's automotive finish. The line's beautiful. But when I go inside, I just like the soft feel. So
it is very soft.
I know some guys don't like that, but I like from the headliner, the cushions. It just feels like you're getting hugged.
Yeah, it's a very
real men
soft,
like hugs.
Yeah, real men like hugs. It is a very, especially ones that cry. It is. I love men that cry. So it's a soft, like robin's egg blue, and then this nice creamy white. And then a real pale silvery gray. And all that together
is a hug. Bruce, what's
awesome.
your favorite feature of the Barefoot?
I have to say the exterior appearance is just, it's so dramatic. And what surprised me is it just seems to resonate with everybody I show this unit to.
That's true. I've never seen anybody look at it and not do a double take. I've never seen anybody look at it and go, oh, that thing is ugly. I mean, nobody. Not one person.
in my space, it's really weird because, when you make teardrops, you've heard forever, they're, those are so weird. What are those things? They're neck breakers when you see them on the road, right? Mm-hmm. But this, in the midst of teardrops, stands out.
Yeah.
Like it's a neck breaker of neck breakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You thought you made unique things, but no, now you have a Barefoot.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so cool. So I guess moving back, I have a question about the team because you were sold on this, but I remember going to a meeting with several dealers and I was asked, what do you think we should work on? And I said, you've got to be kidding me. You're asking me that? I saw that Barefoot. Why aren't you building it? When's it going to be ready? Come on. Where are you? Come on. And you guys are like, really? I got some questions from your team saying, do you really think it's going to sell? Did you have a hard time getting your entire team on board? Or were they just maybe trying to feel out whether they thought it was the best way forward?
That's a great question. Look, we have a unique leadership structure.
You do? It's awesome.
It's very unique. And, sometimes I say, okay, I don't know best. So I'm going to yield to you and I will line up and I'll support you and I'll do whatever you need to accomplish that goal.
Right.
And, maybe it was a little bit of a slow burn. But everybody lined up. Obviously, it's a big undertaking and it's this huge it's not a U-turn, but it's a 90-degree turn from just producing teardrops. So, production's sitting back, operations. Well, why are we going to deviate from something that's been so tried and true? It's our calling card. We've got a lot of success with this. Do we really need to do this? I'm not much of a salesman. At least I would say I'm not, but I'd like to sell facts. And I think Cathy really is the one who helped, to me, it's a no-brainer. I see it the second I see it, but I'm not processing it through a production mindset.
Right.
Well, what are the efficiencies? But anything to do with the market. Mm-hmm. But I'd say everybody in-house and on the leadership team lined up pretty quickly. again, anybody who sees it says, wow, that's really unique. That's so interesting. That's so cool. So it's not that reaction wasn't the initial one. It was, do you understand, Scott, what that's going to take? And clearly I didn't. But,
no, but just do it.
Thank goodness, because you might have said it's too much.
Mm-hmm. And I, in times since, I've yielded on things where that I really wanted to push forward, and production said, hey, do you understand? I don't think you understand. And I say, no, I don't understand. And if you're going to tell me right now is not the right time, I have to listen to you. So there's been a good, give and take, and I'll definitely take the Barefoot.
So you have learned from your experience, but in the end, the team came together and did some of the things that were just super hard to do. And here we are, launching a Barefoot tomorrow. So exciting. So exciting. I've been impressed. I mean, we've all had struggles the past 3 years of every kind. I mean, supply chains are horrendous. Demand is over the top. And just building the product you normally build has been such a challenge, even if the Barefoot was on the back burner. And somehow through all of that, you kept developing this product. It's incredible. My hat's off to your team. I hope they are happy with the progress.
Yeah, we are, but always progressing forward. So.
Oh, that sounds so...
What a Scott answer.
So Scott. It's awesome. I don't know.
Hubble 24.
Well,
I'd vote for you.
Cathy's so inspirational, and she is, she's one tough cookie. She pushed for what she wanted, and wow, this is impressive. So I don't know. Anything else that you think people ought to know about the development of this? If you had one closing statement to say to the entire world about the Barefoot trailer,
the entire world listens to our podcast?
The entire world. No.
I should have put on mascara. No. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry, entire world. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I think you just need to go see it in person. It's cool to look at on the internet. You could ask us for a brochure. We'll send you a brochure. It's not what you see. You have to experience it. You have to feel it. You have to let it hug you. Go inside. It's not for everybody, absolutely, but it is a real showstopper.
But neither is a Ferrari. But I'd still like to look at it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's still fun to look at. I think that's a great point of view. What about you, Bruce? What would you say if you had one statement to make to everyone about the Barefoot?
Well, I think you've heard it's been a journey, but it's very fulfilling now to see it at this stage. It is unique. As you heard, Cathy started the project a very unusual way with a beautiful shape and then figuring out how she was going to get it made.
Right.
And most of the industry does the project the other way around. They start
That's so true.
Figuring out how they're going to make it, and that dictates the design. So as I think she touched on in her podcast, there's a lot of development and complexity to making a product like this. And it's not for everyone, and it can be very challenging. But I think what it makes possible is a shape like this, and there's really no other way to develop a shape with this kind of freedom and design integration than with this molded fiberglass construction. So it's been a journey. It's taken a long time to get us here, but I'm just excited for people to get through the unit and see what we've accomplished.
Lindsay, what would you say?
About the Barefoot?
Yes.
I wish I came up with it first. I don't know. It's cool. It makes me want to go camping. You should step inside of it, like Scott said, because it's totally different. This is the first time I've been in a Barefoot.
Lindsay had never seen one until today.
Okay.
So
she had never seen it.
I totally agree with you. I've seen a million pictures. We've had this little book here and I flipped through it and I've seen the videos, but yeah, walking inside of it is just completely different.
Yes.
I'm in love.
Well, now that we've made it to this point, what I would say to close out our amazing podcast, thank you guys, is that what Cathy dreamed up on a napkin and what she was able to accomplish with sheer determination is nothing short of amazing and inspiring, because this unit is unique, it's individual, it's creative, it takes all the rules out of RVing as far as we know how they're designed. And it just builds something that, like you said, it feels like it fits. It just has an amazing line and an amazing flow. And you can just tell that a whole lot of love and attention from a ton of people went into making it what it is today. So if you get a chance to see it, I would encourage everyone to make it a point to say hello to a Barefoot. And like I said, it's kind of like checking out a Ferrari. You may not want one. It is worth looking at. So thank you guys.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate it. It is amazing. I cannot wait till tomorrow. We have a beach on the front of our dealership, and I'm just going to celebrate from sunup to sundown.
So cool.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys want to see the Barefoot, I know it's not the same online as it is in person. You can look at the nuCamp website. They'll show you the closest dealer that might have a Barefoot. You can also look in the show notes at rvsmalltalk.com. We will put pictures and video of the Barefoot there. And man, that was interesting and fun. And I feel like drinking some tea now with all those British accents.
So we will see you guys somewhere down the road. Catch us again next week.
We'll be on the beach in our parking lot. Bye.